Welcome back to Empower Your Teen. Today we are joined by Angela Wilson, who is considered one of the brightest minds in career transition, career coaching, and mentoring. Now a #1 best-selling author, well-respected speaker, educator, coach, and consultant on all things career and transitions, Angela is the founder of Career Design Studio, a global transitional journey for women who have experienced an unexpected change in their career. Her signature program is designed for women to discover their next chapter and once and for all uncover the meaning and purpose of life. Oh my gosh, thank you for doing all that work.
No problem at all. Thanks for having me here today, Emma.
Yes, I'm so glad. I'm someone who transitioned careers myself. I'm someone who talks with young people about careers. So I'm so glad that you're here today and that we're going to be talking about this, because I feel like a lot of families who have, teenagers, they're so focused on school and class and things like that, that we forget to think about what could a career be for them. So that's why I'm so excited to talk about this. But first, I would love to find out how you started, how did you come to this line of work?
Sure. And when we think about where we land in careers, there's always twists and turns, and it's always evolving. And so where I thought I was going to be when I first left school was very different to where I am today.
Mm-hmm.
And it was an unexpected change that brought me into careers. And it was a moment that changed my life to the point where I went, I can't go back to the person that I used to be, and that things have to change within me. And I want to really uncover the meaning and purpose in my life. And I began to explore careers because I really didn't have much of a clue about my own career journey and what that entailed. And I wanted to be more informed, so I didn't land back in the same old job and have the career crisis, which is the title of my book, that I didn't want to keep landing back in those same positions where something just didn't feel right, where it was a little bit off, and that the meaning and purpose of my life, what is it now, since I went through a really big change in my personal life, and it was filtering into that professional life. I wanted to understand more about who I was and what I wanted to be able to contribute to this world. And so I went on a really amazing journey of transformation and self-discovery that led me to find career development. And I didn't know the entirety of it, that it's connected to life. And so I was exploring my values, my strengths, my interests now, and piecing together all those dots that I'd collected along the way and connecting them all, that everything that I did served a purpose to where I am today. And it's amazing when you get that reflection and you look back and you understand yourself and how you've evolved. And career development has opened up my eyes to having that deeply personal connection to my career and how I can go out into the world and help people in a way that really sits well with me. And that I have finally found it as well, that I want to make sure that people out there, that even if teens are listening to this as well, that we don't have to know everything when we leave school, because usually the job we're in might not have even been invented when you leave school. So go with those changes. And I know now that I'm much more flexible and adaptable. And when COVID hit, it was a blessing for me because I got to explore all of these parts of, well, how do we move through careers in this big pandemic crisis? And that once you know the tips and the tools and the strategies and you have a deep sense of yourself, you can really move through those times. So I'm very thankful that I have all of these strategies now and that I get to pass them on to other people, because people were saying to me, oh, how did you end up where you're at? And they ask lots of questions, and I get to pass all that on these days. And it just sits so well with who I am now, that I'm very glad that I went and explored who I am and where I really want to be in this world.
I love that. I love that so much because especially with young people graduating from high school and going on to college, so much is what do you want to do and what are your stats? What are your numbers? And I'm more interested in who are you, right? Who are you and how do you want to be in this world? So I love that. Okay, so let's talk. You have career design studio,
Yes.
right? So can you explain a little bit just like what is career design? Because I think most people know, well, this is a job I could do and that's a job I could do. So what is career design?
Career design is a lot about you at the center of your careers. That in the past, it was rigid, it was fixed. We went through and we followed what society expected. And careers aren't like that these days. They're very adaptable to experiences around you, opportunities, and that we want to make sure that we have a full picture of you at the center of your careers, because we're leaders and managers of our careers these days. When we think back, there was no choices. You pretty much got to move into a job and you stayed in there, and it's very different these days. So when we think about designing your career, if you know a lot about yourself, so your values, your strengths, your interests, your personality, what type of environment you want to work in, that's where you can begin to design, well, where do I want to be? You get to have those choices these days about the people that you work with, the commute, the types of ways that you're going to be spending your day. Are you engaged? Are you motivated? The people that I speak to these days want to have fun. They want to contribute. They want to be living their passions and have that fulfillment at work. So it's very personal choices that we have to make, and that when we design our careers, it is about trying things, taking steps forward, talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about let's just do our resume and update our LinkedIn. It's more about how can I express who I am through the work that I do, because a lot of people want to fulfill that part of them these days through work. So designing it is about you at the center and moving fluidly with changes that happen. I know that we've all been through COVID recently, and a lot of people are reassessing, who am I and what do I want from my job? And some people went straight back into the same job. Other people might have made it more flexible. They're able to maybe now drop their kids off at school and attend things that they weren't able to do before, but they saw how careers can impact your life or a not so good way. So designing careers is about making changes that suit you at the center and learning to negotiate and be flexible and taking risks as well, trying things and pulling things together and when I think about dreaming big, that's something that a lot of people stop themselves from doing because, oh, how can I do that with a family? Or how can I do that? There's so many limiting beliefs out there and things that we tell ourselves that we can't do. So career design is about dreaming big and actually taking steps towards that, putting things into action, not staying up here and saying, I'm thinking of this, or I'd love to be doing this, but actually exploring it and getting creative and brainstorming and stepping outside of your comfort zone. So that's a bit of a snapshot of career designing.
I love it. So what advice do you have for parents who have kids about to go to college, or maybe they just started college, and just this idea of designing career for young people? What advice do you have?
The one thing that I find through the work that I do is I get a sneak peek into the way that parents and children interact about careers. I have parents joining interview sessions that I have with students, and I find that some parents come in and either they're very encouraging for their child, or they can be very opinionated and they can be very demanding, and they can be taking over and answering questions for their child and looking at what they would like for their child. So I hope that parents might just take a step back first and have a look at their own career development. What do they have coming into conversations about careers? Do they, when we think about the child's first role model, is that family environment? And what type of environment are you providing for your child about careers? Do you love your job or do you hate your job? And do you come home telling the family about how much you don't want to be working there, or that you really don't like working and that you're not motivated or engaged? So I just wonder, what type of role modeling are you providing for your child in the world of work? Or are you someone who's happy and engaged and talk about how inspiring your day was? Because they're the things that the children pick up on. Some children actually say, I want to do this career for my parents. I want to make them happy. I want to make them proud. Yet that's not putting the child at the center of their careers. And so I urge parents to, first of all, do a bit of a career audit on yourself. Do you know how you can discover your strengths? Do you know how to discover your values? Do you know where your interests are at? Do you know anything about career development so that you can be giving, if your child's looking for advice, you either pass it on to a career coach or a career advisor that knows what they're talking about, because you could be potentially hindering their career decision making that they're building. They're still building that. And I wonder, have you built your own career decision making and career awareness so that you can be providing that information that they're looking for that is going to help them? Because I wonder what career advice you were given as a child at that same age, and if it was helpful as well. That's sometimes a good way for you to look back and go, what was helpful along your journey? And how much do you know about yourself now to provide that support that your teen is looking for? Because they're still discovering who they are. They might not know where they want to be, and that's okay. So I first of all urge everyone to do that audit on their own careers. What kind of role model, attitudes, persona are you giving off about careers? And does that need to switch a little bit? And making sure that you understand it's not a fixed, rigid, linear path anymore. It's very flexible and twists and turns, which I'm sure that everyone has gone on. And to let your child know that it's okay for them to try. I've heard that young people are going to move across in different jobs in their lifetime over maybe 5 different industries. And when we look back, we might have already maybe be close to that. And that's what the world of work is looking like today. And the biggest thing that's really moving very fast that we've all experienced is technology, and to keep up to date and encourage your teen to keep up to date with technology, because that's the one thing that's really important. We know that in our jobs, everything went online for the majority of people, and we had to adapt and evolve. So to keep your child up to date, and maybe you need to keep up to date as well, so that you can provide the right information for them. And I have a teen myself, and I keep thinking as well that I want to have a really special connection with her about careers. That yes, I do have the knowledge, I've got the qualifications to talk about careers, but I want to have a experience with her that is about connecting in a different way, that I want to be that support for her, the encouraging person that knows how to listen through this time, to give her that space to make decisions and to learn from those decisions, because they're not always going to turn out, but you're going to be there for that support, that to to show them that they can pick themselves back up, they can keep trying. And if that job didn't work, what did you learn from it? What are you going to take from it? And let's keep moving forward in careers. So to pull all of that together, learn about your own career attitudes and what you value in your careers. And maybe you need to make a change. If you're not happy, maybe use this chance to learn about careers as well with your child. Encourage them to keep up to date with technology and to use this as a time to really connect with them and learn and grow together around careers and go on that journey with them.
I love that. I love that. And, you know, I have talked with a few young people that I asked them, like freshmen in college, what happens in, let's say, 10, 15 years from now? You change your career. What do you think about that? And a lot of times they say to me, oh, that means I failed. I failed. And I'm just like, oh, they have so much pressure to pick the right thing right now when so many of us shift through our careers. And so I love this idea of taking a self-audit and also letting your kid know, you know, I changed careers, people change careers, it's okay. It's okay, you know, removing some of that stress. And I also like how you said that take an audit of your journey, what you say, but also what advice did you get when you were younger and what worked for you? What's interesting about that is things are so different now, right? And I think we can see that when we think about what advice we got when we were younger to just how things are now. Things are so different. So, and they're continuing to change. So, do you have any particular advice on like future proofing our careers? And, you know, if there were to be another crisis, what can we do to be prepared with our careers?
And it all comes back to, once again, that career design. So when we think about future proofing our careers, that how much time have you spent learning about careers, about yourself, because we're constantly evolving and shifting and changing as a person and also professionally. So taking that time, it's a bit like when we clean out things, we do that big fresh clean out so that we get rid of all the old stuff and the things that aren't working, that we need to constantly be reevaluating our careers. And when was the last time you really thought about your career deeply? That's what I often have to remind people, that career coaching is that chance to reassess and to look at options and alternatives and opportunities around you. So continuing to look at your careers is so important to future-proofing it, so that you're keeping up to date with yourself, that you're moving and changing with all of the world around us and our circumstances, and especially those opportunities that are out there. Sometimes we are very fixed on, this is where I'm headed and this is where I'm going, and then a change happens. And if it's unexpected, it can really rattle you. And that's when we find ourselves stuck and in a crisis going, oh, what am I going to be able to do moving forward? But if you know yourself, if you understand the situation, if you are able to accept sometimes that things happen, and what can you do about it? How can you move forward? Getting that new perspective. So not reliving those past memories and thoughts and then landing back in that job that just still doesn't fit and feel right. So it's really about spending time on your careers, constantly checking in. How's my career going? Am I learning and growing? Am I challenging myself? And is it time to maybe think about changing what I'm doing, or looking at other roles to keep myself engaged and motivated, because life is about learning and growing. And that way that we work might also shift with the challenges we face and the person that we are. So you need to be able to grow and adapt. So future-proofing your career is a lot about keeping current with who you are and continually doing those little audits and check-ins on your career, rather than 5 years down the track going, oh, I should have moved or should have done something about that a long time ago. And now I'm really unhappy. And you have to be able to work through those habits that have formed and that might not be serving you very well. So future proofing, we've all noticed that things can change instantly, and how can you pick yourself up and understand that you can change what you're doing to suit who you are through that change. And especially when I think about COVID, that's changed a lot of people's attitudes to work. And so where are you now, and what environment do you want to be in? Because it is about you as that leader and manager of your own career and where you spend your work time. That we spend a lot of time at work. So are you happy, and are you willing to put in that time as well?
Yeah, life happens, circumstances change, it changes us, and so something that was once right for us may no longer be right for us. So
and
why
that's
not?
okay, isn't it? Yeah, that sometimes we have to accept and let go and move forward with where you want to be and who you want to be as well.
Yep, exactly. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. So you have a free gift for everyone participating, is that right?
Yes, and just a nice sort of segue into that free gift. So just a free discovery session where you spend that time focusing on yourself and your career and doing a little bit of an audit together, just understanding who you are. And I'm not sure if anyone's worked with a career coach before, and you might want to experience a little bit about how you can focus on your career with a qualified person, so that you can then go back to your team and be able to experience careers together. So that's a discovery session for the parents, and that you might even feel that that might be something that you want to explore for your own child. So it's a free discovery session to do a bit of an audit, talk about careers, and get you re-inspired and motivated and looking at careers in possibly a different way.
I love it. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me and for providing this for the parents out there.
Yes, we're so glad you're here. So just a reminder, everyone, I'm going to have links right below this video so that you can sign up for that free session, visit her website, everything will be there. Thank you so much, Angela. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome, Emma. Thank you for having me.
All right, see you next time.
Bye.